Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please, Fernando.
Councilmember Rivas.
Present.
Councilmember Green. Present. Councilmember Beltran.
Present.
Vice Mayor McCurvey.
Present.
Mayor Meister.
Present. Oral communication. This is the opportunity to address the city council on any matter scheduled for closed session. Unless additional time is authorized by the council, all commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes. I'm not seeing anyone. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, we have 5 closed session items tonight. The first item is Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiator, agency negotiator Richard Tree and Juliana Andrade, employee organizations, management and confidential series, public safety and support unit, and Porterville City Employee Association. Item number 2, Government Code Section 54956.95, a liability claim, claimant Mark Alvarez, agency claimed against, City of Porterville. Item number 3, Government Code Section 54956.95, another liability claim, claimant Sonia Fasano, agency claimed against, City of Porterville. Item number 4, Government Code Section 54956.9D1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Cesar Diaz versus Karen Encinas, City of Porterville, Tulare County Superior Court case number VCU 333769. And then finally, Government Code Section 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, one case in which facts are not yet known to potential plaintiff.
Okay, at this time, we'll go into closed session and reconvene at 6:30. Okay, we'll reconvene open session and report on any reportable actions taken in closed session.
Yes, we have reportable action on item number 2 from closed session. Council voted 5-0 to accept a claim for $125,000. We have reportable action for item number 3. The council voted 5-0 to reject this claim, and for no reportable action for 1, 4, or 5.
Thank you, City Attorney. Okay, I'll ask you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Honorable Vice Mayor McCurvey, and then please remain standing for invocation.
Salute, pledge.
My prayer today is that our hearts and minds bind together as we lift up the grieving family of Sheriff Randy Hoppart. Lord, give them strength to face the unbearable days ahead. May they feel your peace in this season of grief. Wrap your loving arms around them, then they may feel the presence of your Holy Spirit. Bring healing to their broken hearts. Lord, you are the master of comfort and support in times of trouble. I pray for healing waters to flow in our city, and all of the needs will be filled. Let no evil rise in our community, but let your righteousness be established. Empower our children to rise above all of their challenges. Our schools are to be sanctuaries of learning and safety for all. Surround our children with peers who will encourage growth and character, freedom from anxiety, fear, insecurity, bullying, and peer pressure. We ask for a breakthrough in financial provisions, open doors of opportunity, bring economic growth, and attract resources that will cause our city to flourish. Wisdom for our leaders to manage resources with integrity and foresight. Businesses to prosper, we pray. Bless the hands of all workers who do serve the city of Porterville. We desire a spirit of kindness and community support among all residents. A city we declare to be safe, secure, and thriving to meet all the needs of the people. Let this be a season that our prayers reach the four corners, the north, the south, the east, and the west. Ignite the hearts and minds of the faith-filled ones with one mind and one accord to stand behind and with our leaders to bring support and encouragement. Give them the wisdom of King Solomon and the courage of King David to lead. Let not our city be divided by denominations, preferences, pride, or hatred. Let there be no divisions among us, but we will be bound together in unity. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, please be seated. All right, we'll move on to council comments. Councilman Rivas, do you have any comments?
Not at this time.
Councilman Beltran, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I'll start off by, it was a great time to enjoy the Cinco de Mayo parade and the day after the festivities at Veterans Park. I attended both of those. I also attended, after that, the parade, I was able to be a judge for the Redo It organization, the salsa eating and chip contest. That was pretty fun to engage with that. The other thing, so this morning also I was a guest speaker for the Breakfast Lions, which I think the mayor was able to do a couple weeks back. So that was an honor. I remember I was a member of them about 10 years ago. So it was great to be back and talk to them about the city. And lastly, on May 7th, this Thursday, is the National Day of Prayer, and there's a number of churches in the community that are opening up their churches throughout the day to offer prayers and stuff. So I know that was a community event we used to do many years ago, And so just want to highlight that for those that are looking for opportunities to pray.
Thank you, Councilman Beltran. Councilman Green, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I do. I just like to convey I had a great time driving down Main Street on Cinco de Mayo, waving to all the little guys. It seemed like they're the ones that really enjoyed the parade. That I wanted to extend a thank you to Merle Stone Chevrolet for providing the vehicle and a driver. And the driver, quite a nice guy that named Pete, and we had a great conversation driving down Main Street together. So I just want to thank Merle Stone, and I had a nice time at Cinco de Mayo.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Councilman Green. Vice Mayor McCurvey.
Yeah, I also was in the parade. I think we were all in the parade. It was kind of nice. I talked to Teresa De La Rosa at the beginning, and Gil, who was, I think it was your driver, it was a 53 Chevy, right? I love that car culture. It was great to see the Queen out there, Erica Sofia Linares. And, it was just awesome. I love Cinco de Mayo because it's the quintessentially an American holiday. It's more popular in America than it is in Mexico. I mean, it's really amazing. But what's cool about it, it's about independence. And what I see with the car clubs, and I got to ride with my childhood friend, Joe Duran, in his 64. We called it the 64 on the floor. And he's got the hydraulics and all that stuff. And it was really a lot of fun because that car culture, it shows the creativity. You got the painting, you got the individual, it's got style. It's quintessentially American, and it's great to see that culture out there. The kids were awesome. We went out and we handed out magazines, independent comic books about independence to the kids. The kids had a blast. I was driving by Larissa's, the furniture store, and this older guy, the older white gentleman with a hat, it looked like he was maybe in his 70s, and he's like, hey, man, and he's doing this, and then Joe was popping it up, and it was, I see Joe out in the audience out there. Good to see you, buddy. Had a lot of fun, and it's really about the kids, and I think that's really become a tradition in our town and across America in a lot of places. It's not just a drinking holiday when you think about independence, so I'll leave it there, but I want to also talk about seeing the mayor on television last week. We had 5 minutes of the mayor getting the vision of our city. So I want to put that out there. If you guys haven't seen that, there's a great 5-minute video about what's going on in our city. It was an excellent interview, communicating directly to the people. It's just awesome to see that. So I wanted to open my statements with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. It's a great honor always to go and represent the people of Porterville. So thank you for acknowledging me for that. It's Madeiras Bab meeting with the mayors. So it's my second time going on with them, and there's a lot of great things going on in our community, like the playgrounds, the community center, the walking paths through the center of town. We've got the Washington Monument, battleship-themed playground coming in, the road work, all the hard work from city staff. It's really that, I mean, looking over at our chief of police, what a fine job you're doing addressing the people experiencing homelessness in our community and really bringing law and order to the table. Our fire department, an outstanding, really well-rounded city. So it's a great honor to get that opportunity to represent them. And then I also participated in the Cinco de Mayo parade as well. I may not be Mexican, but I think anytime as Americans celebrating liberty is important. And so it's something I'm going to get behind, and I'm going to wave at those kids and hand the magazines out and be part of the people, la gente, right? So it's a great honor to go and do that. I believe the celebration, like you said, it's more of American than Mexican or Mexico celebration, but they chased off Napoleon or some troops from the French that tried to invade into Mexico, so it's important. Councilman Rivas, you have something to say there? I see you.
Well, there's.
I'm not covering the history properly, huh?
No, go ahead.
No, so great honor. If you want to say something, you're more than welcome.
Well, I just want to say that there's two independences in Mexico. One's from the French, and the other one's from Spain. So there's two independences.
On Cinco de Mayo?
No, Cinco de Mayo is just an American independence.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, it's a great honor to be a part of it. I appreciate the committee for having us. Okay, with that, we will move on to presentations. Employee of the Month, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. We're going to kick this meeting off with an exciting presentation, and then also the department's recognition of their Employee of the Month. And I will turn the time over to Interim Chief Bobby Radar.
Good evening, council. It's an honor for the police department to present an Employee of the Month a second time in 5 months. It's a real privilege. We'll take it every time you'll offer it. We will not turn it away. You know, when we do this, when we get told that we're up or that we need to fill in, we pretty much leave it up to the staff at the police department. And I think it's important to mention that because when you're chosen by your peers, that's the highest honor you can receive, in my opinion. So this month, the police department chose Officer Patricia Medina. Patricia Medina joined the Porterville Police Department in September 21. In June 23, she was selected for an assignment to the traffic unit, and soon after earned the distinction as serving as a field training officer. Now that's a big deal. She's responsible for training our new officers, introducing them to everything police work. It's a critical role. Officer Medina's expertise in traffic collision investigation, enforcement has been a valuable asset to the unit's continued success. Her dedication to public safety was formally recognized in March 24 when she received an Exceptional Performance Award for her outstanding efforts in reducing traffic collisions. These efforts included identifying high collision intersections, analyzing primary collision factors, and conducting targeted enforcement, demonstrating her understanding that consistent, strategic enforcement is essential to keeping Porterville's roadways safe. Also being proactive. If you get pulled over in Porterville, it's probably going to be Officer Medina. She's everywhere. Every time I see lights come on, I look over and it's Medina. No wonder her partners love her. She's everywhere. She's either pulling someone over or she's responding to another officer to help them out. So it's great. As a field training officer, Officer Medina is committed to instilling in her trainees the skills, standards, and values that define excellent police work. That is our standard, excellent police work. Her strong work ethic and proactive approach are evident both in the field and beyond as she regularly volunteers for additional assignments, including DUI checkpoints, DUI saturation patrols, and patrol staffing support. In her time off, Officer Medina enjoys spending quality time with her son, working out, traveling, camping, and exploring new foods and cuisines, especially Asian food. Officer Medina's hard work, dedication, and professionalism reflect positively on the Porterville Police Department. We are proud to congratulate her as the City of Porterville Employee of the Month for May 2026.
I was going to say, do we get a speech from you? I think you've given me a cell phone ticket before. I may be wrong, though.
Probably. Not really a speech, just want to thank you guys, council, my admin, and my fellow coaches that came to support me. Thank you.
Patricia. Gone. Okay, with that, we'll I was going to ask her, but she was out. She's moving fast. We want to take a picture with you.
Mayor, she was about to go outside and pull some more cars over, but
I could tell. She's on the
she's
hunt.
got time for a picture.
Back on the beat.
That's funny.
Okay, been asked to provide some updated information about the police department and the goings-on with the police department, and basically cover the last fiscal year's information. The Porterville Police Department has remained steadfast in our mission to protect and serve the city we call home. This past year, our officers responded to over 62,000 calls for service, resulting in nearly 7,000 reports written and more than 4,700 arrests. Traffic safety continued to be a priority. Through increased enforcement and education, traffic accidents decreased by 16% compared to the previous 5-year average, and injury-related collisions dropped by 8%. Our focused efforts addressing primary collision factors, such as speeding, Officer Medina, distracted driving, and DUI led to a 24% increase in citations, reflecting our commitment to proactive prevention and roadway safety. On the crime front, the city has seen a significant progress. As of October 25th, violent crime was down 30% and property crime decreased by 29%. These results are a direct reflection of the dedicated work of our officers and the trust and cooperation of our community. We have also continued to prioritize school safety. With the expansion of our school resource officer unit, our officers are now better positioned to provide support and rapid response to school campuses throughout our community. These partnerships with our local districts help build trust with our youth and ensure a safer learning environment. The department has also welcomed a major addition to our investigative resources with the deployment of a new state-of-the-art crime scene vehicle. This vehicle is equipped and self-contained. Mobile unit allows for evidence technicians and officers to process scenes efficiently in the field and transport critical evidence and large items securely. It also serves as a mobile command post during critical incidents, enhancing our response capabilities citywide. Our commitment to connection remains strong. This year, our officers participated in over 15 school presentations and 20 community events, including putting on the Citizens Academy at the police department and the Junior Police Academy. These events give our residents the chance to meet the people behind the badge, ask questions, and see firsthand the people behind the uniform. The latter part of the year brought significant change to the police department with new command staff, reorganization, a deliberate shift to a more proactive approach, and an adoption of new cutting-edge technology. As we look ahead, the Porterville Police Department is excited and optimistic about the future. We remain committed to innovation, partnership, and service. Together, we will continue working hard to serve the city we all love, our home.
Thank you, Chief. Is there any questions? Nope. Great job. Thank you, sir.
Great to me.
Okay, moving on to reports. This is the time for all staff informational reports. I trust council all got an opportunity to look at all the reports. Are there any questions? No? I'm not seeing any, so we'll move on to oral communication. This is an opportunity to address the council on any matter of interest, whether on the agenda or not. Please address all items not scheduled for public hearings at this time unless additional time is authorized by the council. All commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes. So this is an opportunity if you'd like to speak.
I've given Fernando some papers to give to you after I speak. I want to revisit something raised at the April 21st City Council meeting, requiring city employees to sign ethics agreements. After that meeting, I searched the city's website to find the ethics agreement you were talking about, but couldn't find anything for employees. It took me a while, but I finally found the council handbook as an attachment in the previous agenda item. Surprisingly, I couldn't find anything resembling an ethics contract in the city council handbook. So I'd like to ask a simple question. Why are employees being required to sign ethics commitments when the council is not? City employees already operate under strict legal and professional standards, employee handbooks, HR policies, and directions from this council. They don't set policy, they don't award contracts, and they don't control agendas. You do. And under California law, the Political Reform Act, the Brown Act, and the Government Code Section 1090, you already carry the highest ethical obligations in the city. So why would we add another layer for staff but not for elected officials? Ethics cannot be something imposed downward, it has to be modeled upward. Because when there's one standard for employees and another for leadership, the public sees it clearly. It looks like accountability for some, but not for all. If this council truly believes in ethics and public trust, then the solution is straightforward. Adopt the council ethics agreement, make it public, make it enforceable, show the people of Porterville that transparency and accountability start here, because trust isn't built by what we require of others, it's built by what we are willing to require of ourselves. And right now, the public is paying attention more than ever.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner.
Good evening, Karen Anderson. It seems that people in power often see themselves as examples to be followed when they wrap themselves figuratively and literally in symbols of piety and patriotism. In reality, they are putting self-interest and vanity projects first, ahead of the needs of their communities. What it actually reveals is a bit of insecurity and a hunger for attention. This is demonstrated on a local level by the gaudy wrapping on city buses. Not that I have anything against the flags, I don't. But, come on. Then there's the preschool designs of the transit stops. It looks like something from a kindergarten. And then the so-called improvements at Veterans Park, the Battleship Playground and the replica of the Washington Monument, instead of focusing on needs of the community. Was there input from the public sought for those projects? Were they put to a vote? Kind of reminds me of the vanity projects that are going on in Washington, D.C. right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Corey Wells, Springville. I've been up here to talk about Blessings of Liberty before, and so I figured there's been some recent public commentary about Blessings of Liberty, so I figured I'd come up here and talk about Blessings of Liberty. And I want to express appreciation for the interest in the civic participation and more voices strengthening our community, and that was what Blessings of Liberty was about. Our organization has been transparent from the beginning. Our website, mission, and programs have been publicly available for years. We teach residents how to read agendas, understand budgets, and participate respectfully. That's civic education. Some new participants here at City Hall are cynically questioning our transparency while remaining anonymous themselves. Criticizing transparency while hiding their own identity is ironic. I guess they don't want to be held accountable for being wrong, spreading defamation, and looking like a fool. We don't need everyone to agree with us at Blessings of Liberty, and that's what self-government looks like. People with different views organizing and participating publicly. We're doing exactly that with our names attached to our work in the open. But make no mistake, our work is not the same as this council's. We are a civic organization, not a governmental entity. We follow the laws, respect the process, and we do it all publicly. To those concerned about our presence, thank you for the attention. You've reminded many residents that they too can organize and speak up. And this has also reminded the people of Porterville and the Friends of Blessings of Liberty and our members the need to pay attention and engage in civics. Otherwise, they may be deceived by context clippers and lied to by the very people that supported and protected the stagnation that this city has had for decades, and that the people voted to replace. It's great to see that this council and Blessings of Liberty stand as leaders in rejuvenating that the civic movement locally. To those interested in learning more, our door has always and will be open. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Good evening, City Council members. I'm here from the Port Rescue Mission. My name is Bobby Lackey, and I'm giving an update on our Project Safe Sleep initiative. And over the past 2 months, everything's been going extremely well. We've had almost zero incidents of difficult homeless people trying to cause a lot of problems or anything. For the most part, they're all pretty grateful that they have a place to be able to go and be safe for the night, and they can have their stuff locked up. And so we haven't had any shopping carts sitting outside of our gates or anything like that. We've been keeping a pretty good handle on that, and they've been pretty willing to comply with the rules. It's been a really amazing journey and process, actually. Seeing a lot of people. I have 2 individuals here who've been frontlining the project here that are going to be speaking next after me about their personal experience with the project. And they have a lot to say. They've been witnessing a lot of good things with these people out there that are just wanting something, someone to kind of, be on their side and have, something, be able to help them out and do things that, a lot of people aren't willing to do. So, okay. Yeah, and so that's basically all I have to say is I'm going to introducing them, so they're going to come up and speak about their experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lackey.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm here for talk about the Safe Sleep Project from the New Porterville Rescue Mission. The Safe Sleep Project at the New Porterville Rescue Mission is more than just a place for people to rest. It is a lifeline for individuals struggling with addiction, hardship, and hopelessness. What began as a small effort with 7 tents has steadily grown up to 10 tents that are filled almost every night. Since opening Safe Sleep on March 1st of 2026, there have been 492 tents filled, demonstrating the consistent and overwhelming need for this service. In fact, the demand became so great that there are times when people must be turned away because simply there's not enough space. This alone shows how deeply needed the program is in the community. So far, 4 men and 2 women have officially joined the program because of Safe Sleep, and an additional 10 to 15 people have expressed interest in taking that same step. These numbers represent more than participation. They represent the lives beginning to change. As someone who helps with Safe Sleep 7 nights a week, I have personally witnessed the transformation in both men and women who come through. The women especially consistently express their gratitude. Not a single night goes by that they don't say thank you and share how much they appreciate what is being done. The men not always say it out loud, but their respect and their behavior reflect the same appreciation. Beyond gratitude, there is visible progress. The more often individuals return, the healthier and more at peace they appear. Many openly talk about Safe Sleep is helping them stay sober. One man named Nicholas shared that Safe Sleep provides reassurance in his sobriety. He said that it guarantees him 8 hours of sleep, keeps him out of jail, and helps him stay responsible. He says without it, he explained, he loses track of his responsibilities, faces false accusations of drug usage, and it is high risk of being incarcerated. Even the atmosphere has changed. Conversations that once centered around drugs and violence have been replaced with laughter, jokes, and simple appreciation with the warm fire, food, and coffee. People are feeling able to relax without fear of judgment. Safe Sleep is not just about providing shelter. It is about restoring dignity. It gives back hope, joy, and sense of self-worth that many thought was gone forever. It allows people who once felt invisible to feel seen, valued, and cared for again. In every sense, Safe Sleep is changing lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Good evening. My name is Catalina Ramirez, and I've been a resident here in Porterville for about 35 years. I'm currently at the rescue mission. I'm helping with the Operation Safe Sleep, and every night the people come in out of the streets, and we go through a process where we search their bags to make sure, they don't have any drugs or alcohol or weapons. Sometimes they carry weapons like a knife, and we lock them away, because sometimes the streets can get a little dangerous and it gets a little scary, so we lock away their personal belongings like that, like the knives or something. And so after that, we do a little intake. We to read them the rules and stuff, like, like they can't leave, and they just have to respect the rules. And as far as in not bullying anybody, not bullying each other, not having their phone on high or whatever, just, And so we, after that, after the intake, they sign in, and then we feed them every evening. We feed them dinner, and then we have a big pot of coffee out there, and then we serve them some water with their food too if they want coffee. And so, once a week we wash their what is that called, their sleeping bags, and their pillowcases, and we clean out their tents, and give them a pillow, and so they can and we also have like a yoga mat we put on the bottom, so they won't sleep on the hard floor, and so to make it comfortable for them, because I was homeless myself too, and sometimes I hear them say, I need a tent because I froze out there. I go, I understand that, so and it makes me happy that that they have a place to go and to sleep, and it's safe there, so we make sure that. And I just wanted to add that, I'm happy to be at service and to help these people. And, my main motivator is Jesus Christ. He's a very humble person. He's a very humble God, our King. And he's a God of love. So I get that from him. I get that characteristic from him. So I can't, express that without saying that, I want to thank him for everything that he does for us, because he is a provider. He gave us the breath of life, and he gave us the gift of eternal life, and another opportunity for a new life. So he did that with me. So I want to encourage other people like myself, because I've been in recovery. I've been clean for 2 years now, and I want to pass that message on to someone else.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Brock Neely, address on record. I'd like to request that you pull item 16 for further discussion. I have questions on the application for the event. First thing is the application date is 11/25/2025 on the application. The event is 5/16/2026. The other thing is the sponsoring organization is American Conservatory. The flyer says that they're going to be having a raffle. To legally hold a raffle in the state of California, you have to be a legally recognized 501c3 for at least a year in the state of California, and 60 days prior to the event, you have to pay a $20 fee for a permit. They've only been a legally recognized 501 or a nonprofit in the state of California since March 3rd. So obviously they didn't get a permit, so they're in violation of law. The other thing is all the organizations sponsoring this have several people in common. One of them is Ed McCurby's on the board of all of them. So are you going to recuse? The other thing is Corey Wells is involved in all of them. He's also the treasurer for all three of your campaigns. So obviously you should recuse all three of you because of that, because it looks very stinky. Now, the car show itself, I have no problem with. It's just these sponsorships and the webs that are woven. Who's paying for what and what money's going where? The other thing is on the solid waste that you're going to discuss. It's been brought to my attention that the company that was in last meeting has actually had a tour of the solid waste facility. So are all the other RFQ people going to get the same opportunity to see the facility before they send in their RFQ? If not, that's really a crappy way of doing business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neely.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Duran Aguilar, and I'm a resident of Porterville.
Could you pull the mic down to your...
Is this better?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Sonia Duran Aguilar. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to thank, the city council and city manager for all the improvements that are happening in our city. I've lived in Porterville my whole life. I appreciate the walking paths. I appreciate the thoughtfulness to make improvements and optimizations in our city. What I'm here to request is to have a little bit more communication. I live on the east side, and to much of my dismay over the last couple of weeks, maybe even more than that, we've had construction, not by the city. By who? I don't know, because there is no way to identify who these folks are that are drilling in our front yards, drilling in our streets, patching them up, soon to be sinkholes. I'm no engineer, I'm in healthcare. But what I do want to ask respectfully to this council and city manager, whoever's involved, we need communication. No one in our neighborhood knew who these folks were. We're living in different times. How do we know who these individuals are and what are they placing and running under our homes? They could be terrorists for all we know. No ID, no badges, nothing whatsoever. All I was told was the city approved a grant for us to come and put communications. For what? I don't know. I'm not a technical person. So I do request respectfully that when these types of projects are brought into our community, maybe for optimizations and improvements, that people learn about them, that we know about them as a community residents in the neighborhood, and that we know who to go to when there's damages on our streets, on our driveways, on our yards. And so, yeah, communication is another way we show how we respect each other. And no one seemed to know who these folks were. So I heard from many people in my neighborhood that they had no idea that this would happen. Apparently, there were supposed to be some flyers. I never got one. And so, yeah, just please, more communication. That's all we request.
Ma'am, thank you for your comments. Would you leave your personal information with staff so they could communicate with you, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Adrian Moraga, West Grand Avenue and Prospect. I just wanted to talk about the civic event coming up, the car show. I think it's a great thing. I went over the application over it. I know it's being put on by Classic Image. Good group of guys, you know. I met Joe and a couple of them. And I know it's in conjunction with La Gente and American Conservatory. So what? It's going to be great for the community. I went over the application. I don't believe they're asking anything from the city other than the barricades, right? Something like that. And I know that I believe that the money from the wristbands, that goes straight back to the city as well. I mean, heck, if 1,000 people come and 1,000 people buy wristband, that's 10 grand to the city. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. It's going to be great for those involved, like Don Vino's and Poor Richards and the Palace and all those other ones. I know that the vendors are limited, the food vendors are limited, so that way the actual businesses on Main Street can, capitalize on that. I think it's great, and I hope to see future events like this. So that's all I got today.
Thank you, Mr. Moraga.
My turn. First time caller, long time listener. My name is Rolando Ornelas. I live on the west side of Porterville behind Menachie on Lindale. I represent Classic Image, okay? We're the ones hosting the event, the car show that we asked permission. First of all, thank you for the city for, letting us at least bring it up, right? First time we ever throw a legit car show, right? So we don't know the channels. So we contacted people that know the channels. La Gente, Blessings with Liberty, American Conservatory, wherever you want to talk about it. For us, it's not about making money or glory. It's about bringing the city back. The first thing we did was talk to Main Street and say, hey, we don't want to close you down. We want to bring businesses to you. We want to bring the business. We want to let people go in and out of your establishment. 100%, I'll probably be in Stanford's Chocolate all day long. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? But go out there, cars, not lowriders, not anything other than car enthusiasts. Bikes, RCs, RVs, anything you got that looks good to shine, we're asking Porterville to bring it. I grew up in this town. I love this town. This town is falling off, right? We're not doing anything. Lindsay lets people walk up and down the street, and they only got like 34 people that live there. You know, we got a huge community. Let's bring Porterville back to shine, right? Whoever's against it, I apologize for you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Our heart's pure. You know what I'm saying? We do everything with God backing us up. And that's all I could say. It's Classic Image. It's not La Gente or American Conservatory. We're the ones throwing the car show. We just ask for help because we don't know what steps to take. And that's what you do. If you, as a kid, you ask your parents for help, right? Or as an adult or an employee, you know, I got a boss. I asked my boss what I got to do. And that's what we did. We found someone that can help us and push us in the right direction. Once we get this, then we'll continue to do this. And hopefully this is an annual thing. We don't just want to do it once and let it go. We want something to grow. I'm talking about, I would love to do a Hot August Nights down Main Street so the businesses can, you know, can grow, and it could do right before Christmas. They can start making business. That's what we're all about, man. I'm not about trying to say that we're Classic Image or we're this or we're that. It's nothing like that. It's just bringing an opportunity for the community to grow, bring people out here. There's comments about the fair. Ain't nobody go to the fair until 6 o'clock at night anyways. You know what I mean? And let's be honest. So let's come during the day, come out to the car show, come and introduce yourself. A raffle ticket, the money that gets picked up, that just goes back because we're offering grand prizes. We're not taking anything. We're not earning anything, and I'm not trying to make no money. At the end of it, everything goes back. 29 seconds, I got to go. But again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Classic Image is here for the people, and that's what we do. City of Porterville, whatever you guys want to do together, we'll do it. We've done toy drives. We give out food. You know, we had a barbecue the other day, and everything was free. We let people come, and we fed them, and that's what we do. It's all about trying to grow the community, not to try to down. I love Porterville, and let's get Porterville to grow.
Thank you, sir.
He said it all. He said it all. John Duran for the records. I'm here to support the car show. And I also want to say something that's very important to me. There's comments out there being made by toward La Gente, my organization that I represent, and I am I have to answer to the members of my organization. When they call me up and they say they hear this on Facebook, people talking about how we're electing officials so they can go ahead and do favors for us. That's untrue. There's no facts to it. We don't do that. What we do as an organization, we go out there, solicit, and find the best qualified people that can run for office to represent the communities. That's what we do, and that's our main focus. We get involved with fundraisers on the side, and we do a good job at doing that. We're helping with a car show because they asked for our help, and we're out there doing that. You know, the thing is that what I find very ironic is that you got people in City Council, District 1, and the people are the ones that suffer in his district because things aren't getting done. Things are not getting done. I hate to say it. I hate to come up here and just criticize in that manner, but I've had it. I've had it. You had Mr. Neely come up here, and he talks about how American conservatives are raffling and doing that. They're not even doing that. It's the organizations that are raffling the tickets for prizes. He said it himself. My organization, we don't make any money off this. We give it right back to the community. And for people to go around saying all these allegations that aren't even true, come and talk to me. If they want answers about the organization, I invite every one of you, anybody in the audience, come and talk to me. You know where I live. I live right around the corner from Mr. Beltran. He can probably take you over there. Come and talk to me so I can give you the answers you guys need. And that's all I have to say, because I kind of had it, and I'm not supposed to come up here and say that because my wife says, hey, shut up, don't say too much. But, you know, you get frustrated at the end. You get frustrated, and I'm not that kind of person. You know, I can only take so much. But thank you so much for listening to me, all right?
Thank you, Mr. Duran.
One last thing. Please give it all you got for that item 16. I pray that you guys consider that and grant them their desire.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Greg Shelton, 88 North Wilford Drive. I'm going to talk about a couple things. I didn't come down for the budget meeting, but I watched it online, and I'm kind of famous for being really cheap and not wanting to spend money. And but there was a couple things on there that I kind of liked. I like the idea of the PA system, and I can tell you why is because We say we want to emulate Visalia in their downtown. If you go to Visalia, they have a PA system, they play music all day, every day, I think probably into the night. And I gotta admit, when I go over there at night and it's kind of dark, it's soothing and it makes me feel safe. And I really missed it when we had it at the Freedom Fest. We used to have bands that played out there, and it was like just a background music. And then when we did away with it, or I guess we don't do it now, I noticed that it wasn't the same dynamic. It looks like it's 50 grand, 100 grand, you know, whatever it is, but it's something that everybody can use. We can play it at the Christmas parade. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's something that everybody can enjoy, and we can change the music. If you don't like Pink Floyd, we'll put on Johnny B. Good. But so I think that's a good idea, and I like this, Mr. Mayor. I like the splash pad. You know, I'm not again, because that's something that everybody can use. It's not secular. It's something, especially around here where it's really hot. Again, a lot of these things we do seems like only certain people enjoy them, you know, and I like that idea. Now, that being said, there's two items on the consent calendar, number 13, number 16. Number 13 it's an extension of what we're doing with number 19. What we're doing now is we're fixing the code, little at a time, but it's happening. And this was a gal that I met that was telling me a story about the city of Porterville. And I said, listen, let me look into this. And I got on it, and city manager put me over on Clayton, and I got on Clayton, and in 5 days, Clayton had an alternative nailed down. We got Jeff O'Neill involved, and we came up with a fix. And not just a temporary fix, not a one-time fix, but a fix from here on out. Now, I don't want to do it one at a time because we haven't got enough time to do that. But I want to applaud them both. It's going to come, hopefully, if you guys approve it at the next meeting, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. And the last one is this car show. Oh, my God, are we going to get PPC violations again? Are we going to get turned in? We're going to go for that little ruse? You know, that's always the thing. I looked at that application, $4 million worth of insurance. I mean, we got them screaming at $1 million worth of insurance. I mean, whoever prepared these guys, top flight, man. Everything was covered, not asking for a damn thing. And for someone to tear it down because of the people that are doing it, you know what I mean, because of their politics or whatever, is just, you know, it's just onerous. So anyway, I hope you approve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sheldon.
Heather Thompson Young, address on file. Good evening. I have a lot of concerns and questions that I would like to ask on behalf of the residents of the city after watching the way the city council has conducted themselves over the last year and a half. How many employees have left the city in the past year? Why are city employees afraid to come speak and raise their own concerns? It is out of fear or retaliation. What about Rich Tree? Is he qualified to be the city manager? Has he ever ran a city? Who makes the council qualified to make major financial decisions? Have you ever been managers or business owners? Have you ever had to balance $1 million budget or know anything about liability? How do you feel about firing employees but funding pet projects? What are wants, not needs? Why does this council keep saying the city is broke, but insist on spending money so carelessly on events like a UFC fight that will cost $15,000?
Ma'am, could you adjust your mic so we can hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You don't have to laugh at me. UFC fight that will cost $15,000 but only cater to 200 to 300 people. What about the upcoming car show? I'm all about a car show, but you can't vote on it if you're up there on the dais. You're a part of their clubs. Also, I wanted to let you know the day you will be hosting this car show, it's great. I'm not against it, but it is a day that my kid and a lot of other families' kids will be selling their animals at the Porterville Fair. So you're taking away from the youth. Mr. Meister, you constantly repeat, show your worth. You told city employees to show their worth on the night they were threatening to get fired. You said, show your worth to a group of sixth graders at the sixth grade exhibition. Do you show your worth to this city or to your job? Or do you hide out in your little truck at PDC while the phone doing business for a large portion of the day on state dime? What about outsourcing our refuse department? More jobs lost. And how will going to a third party help the residents of Porterville? And how convenient there just so happened to be a representative from an outside company at the last city council meeting. You claim to be all transparency, so be transparent. To the leaders, your authority is trust, not a trophy. Lead like Jesus by washing your feet, not waving a scepter. We are Porterville first. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. All right. I'm not seeing anyone else, so we'll close oral communication. Oh, wait, this banging the gavel is a little early, huh? And we'll move on to council comments. Councilman Beltran.
The one comment that was made had to do with the construction on the roads, and that's something we addressed internally, working with contractors and different companies that are going to come do work in the community to make sure that their vehicles are, have logos or signage on them, that their employees have their identification on there, and same thing with badges, people that are going door to door. You actually, especially if you're soliciting for something, you're actually required to come to the city and actually get a permit to do that. So internally, we are working on that because there had been a lot of complaints, not just from what's happening now, but in the past. And so internally, we are working to make sure that when these projects do come, because these aren't city projects, these are utility projects, that we are making sure that they're aware of what they're required to do.
Thank you, Councilman Beltran. Councilman Green, do you have any comments?
Not at this time, Mayor, thank you.
Councilman Rivas?
Yeah, I have several. First off, one of the one of the ladies out there's about ethics. In a nutshell, council members do have ethics training, AB 1234, by the state. You need to go to the FPPC and review that. Also, we are bound by the Political Reform Act. That's another one. Government Code Section 1090. That's another one. The Browns Act. The Public Records Act. The FPPC Form 700 and 460. Porterville does have a code for council members, and it's called ethics training. It's there. You just need to find it. Also, in regards to this car show, I'm all support for car shows because what it does is it gets people involved. And even though it's with the Porterville Fair, that's always there, but this is a one-time thing. Hopefully they can do it a second year, a third year, and a fourth year, hopefully, with all intended purposes. But in regards to conflict of interest, you have to be part of something that has nothing to do with being an associate with them or them, because there's no financial interest, and you have to look at under government section 81-100-87103. There's no economic effect for any council member alleged for supporting such a thing. Form 700 disclosure requirements applied the relationships described. You don't need to recluse yourself from any voting. It's all plain and simple, black and white. And that doesn't trigger an FTCC rules violation. You might think so, but it doesn't. Unpaid nonprofit involvement is not a conflict of interest under the PPFC. Also, that's regulation 18703.4-B. Even attending public recognition and political alignments are not conflict of interest under the FPPC law. So you can support this, and they haven't violated anything because no one's gaining any money. No council member is getting, that I'm aware of, any financial gifts or anything. So with that, I support this tremendously. But in regards to that other lady, Young, you say you've been watching us for a year and a half? Yes, sir. Okay. Then you pretty much know what we've been up to, what we've been failing, what we were faced when we got here. So we're doing the best we can with what we have, with what we were told at the time. And we're trying to fix it. We're not all perfect. But during the line, we haven't fired anybody. We haven't laid off anybody. The fact of the matter is they don't want to, when people start leaving, it's because they were comforted for so long.
This is not the time to have communication. You had your opportunity for oral communication, man.
For my understanding, in my perspective, ma'am, I haven't heard of or rumored of any retaliation. If there had been, I would be talking to the city manager and the interim city manager during that time. But I haven't heard anything. I mean, the people that I speak to, they have all just left on their own merit, finding something else because they've seen a change coming. And the change is positive because we're holding people accountable, just like we're being held accountable when we're up here. I mean, we toot a fine line when we're up here. You know, I have to be careful when I speak to people because they might take it out of context. That's why I carry a camera with a voice recorder, because I don't want my statements or my engagement with anybody convoluted or placed on what you just said, the Porterville First or the Porterville FYI. I mean, I'm a celebrity now based on those two platforms. Jiminy Crickets. Oh, no, really, I am a celebrity. I try to be under the radar, but you guys put me in the front burner. Accusations after accusations. As a matter of fact, a particular council member tried to get me arrested, tried to use his influence with the DA. So talk about ethics. So with that, I'll leave that with
Thank you.
your footsteps, and I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Councilman Rivas. Vice Mayor McCurvey.
You know, I don't want to dignify a lot of the hatred with a response, but I'll say this. Loud, angry voices are not going to control this city. And when you spread lies and half-truths and misinformation, it's not Porterville First. I am not Porterville. I know who Porterville First is. And, you know, the guy that you guys are associated with has been in prison for 3 years, and he's a felon, and he's definitely a nuisance for all of us. But you want to hitch your wagon to that, that's fine. And, you know, the things that are being said about us are slanderous and defamation. But the loud, angry voices will not control the course of this city, especially when a lot of those loud voices aren't even from the city. And I'll remind you, this was a change election in '24, and 3 of these seats changed. I beat the incumbent. He was selected. And he had at least a dozen half-former mayors and other officials around this city and senators in the Democrat Party behind him. And he lost 73 to 27. Overwhelmingly, I was put in this seat by the people to bring the change that you are seeing. With my colleagues here, we are making great progress towards getting our city back on track. It's been off track for a long time. So you can come in here and wail and scream and cry and whine and all that stuff, but it's not going to change the resolve of this man. And you have made me famous, and I call you guys my secret admirers because you keep on writing about me, but go ahead. I'm not afraid. I don't want to leave anything negative here, so I'll go below the line. Now let me go above the line. Accountability, responsibility, freedom. The young men and women that came in here tonight reporting from the Porterville Rescue Mission are doing God's work. They're saving people. They're saving souls. They're taking care of the people that are on the street, and they're working with our community, pulling together to lift up those that have been affected by hard times. And they're helping them get sober, and they're helping them get off the street, and they're helping them to be safe, and businesses are helping them, and other nonprofits are helping them. Nonprofits I'm associated with are helping them. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you want to try to pin things on certain people for political points, because these people are doing the work. These people are showing the work. These people are blessing our community because they're pulling together with love and grace and forgiveness, and they're making the sacrifices that makes this town great. And I just want to applaud Bobby for coming in here tonight. Bobby, I haven't come out to see you in a while. I need to come out and see you. And it was great to see Catalina here. And Chris was here. It's just a powerful message for you to come in here tonight and talk about the great progress that the mission is doing for our community and how you guys are working together with everybody, pulling together because we have to crowdsource this issue. This isn't a city-owned issue. Every city has this challenge, but the city can't solve this problem. It takes the community. And I'm just so uplifted by the love and the grace from the Porterville Rescue Mission and all the hard work that they do. And I just want to say thanks to you guys for coming out tonight and giving us an update. Keep up the good work. I'm going to come out and see you soon. It's really great to see that happening in our community. There's a lot of love there, and there's a lot of sacrifice that's happening, and it brings us together, and it's really appreciated by this councilman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, I guess we could see why you got 73% of the vote, and I'm a little jealous because I only got 65. So outstanding, sir. You know, a lot of comments tonight, and of course, going last, everything's already been said, right? But it really was a treat to have Porterville Rescue Mission come in and give us an update. You know, what was it, 3-4 months ago, we gifted them $5,000 to help with what they're doing for our community and addressing some of the homeless and trying to give them a place to stay. You compare what their impact is compared to the Navigation Center, where we're spending $2 million a year for 30 beds, compared to Porterville Rescue Mission, it's outstanding. And so really, it's amazing to have them in and give us that update. I do not support tent cities, and so I want to be on record with that. It's not something I'm a fan of. But it seems like they're setting them up and tearing them down before I ever see them, because I haven't seen any tents over there. So I do appreciate that side. I hope that in the future we could look at ways to continue to work with them and maybe find them a new location, because it's another thing. I just do not like the location of where the rescue mission is currently, but the work they're doing is outstanding, and I really greatly appreciate the update tonight. Race communication, they have been a pain in the butt all over town. I've got the complaints of them going into people's backyards without permission. It's a continued issue. We've had meetings on them, Mr. Tree. I think maybe it's time to have another meeting. I know it's been a couple months, but we need to continue to remind them that these are our customers. Our constituents are our customers, and we need to deliver service. So I think that's an important meeting to be had. You know, Ms. Thompson, there was a time that you were cheerleading for me, and there's a change in leadership in our police department, and that's your brother-in-law, and that's why. Well, I'm just saying, ma'am. I'm being transparent as well. You came in and attacked me, and you're talking about me being on the phone at work during state hours. What you do not know is what I do for a living. I do. And so I actually work with multiple contractors for the state, where I have to be on the phone with multiple contractors. This isn't $1 million budget, it's multi-million-dollar budget. And so we have major decisions in what we're doing, but it's good, and I knew this already, but eyes are always on us. They're always looking for ways for us to fail, and so it's good to be checked in that way, and I appreciate that. With that, we'll move on to consent calendar. All consent calendar items are considered routine and will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these matters unless a request is made, in which event that the item will be removed from the consent calendar. All items removed from the consent calendar for further discussion will be heard at the end of scheduled matters. How does council want to go forward?
I would like to pull items 5 and 6.
Are there any other items that you'd like pulled? Council, looking for a motion.
Anybody else?
Okay, I'll make a motion to go through consent items 1 through 17 minus 5 and 6.
I'll second that
that.
motion, Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. We'll call for the vote. Passes 5-0. Okay, with that, we'll move on to our only public hearing of the night. City Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Our public hearing tonight is in regards to the status of vacant positions as required by Assembly Bill 2561, and I've asked Director Andrade to provide the staff report.
Thank you, City Manager, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. California State Assembly Bill 2561, which took effect on January 1st, 2025, requires public agencies to present the status of vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts at a public hearing at least once per fiscal year. The report summarizes vacancy rates across the city's 6 bargaining units as of April 1st, 2026. Vacancy rates currently range from approximately 10% to 19%, with no single bargaining unit meeting or exceeding the 20% threshold that would trigger additional reporting requirements under AB 2561. Because no bargaining unit exceeds the 20% threshold, the city is not required to provide additional detailed reporting as outlined in the legislation. To address current vacancies and support recruitment efforts, the city utilizes multiple outreach strategies, including postings on the city's website, recruitment portals, industry-specific job boards, social media platforms, and local newspapers. In 2024, the city implemented NeoGov, a widely used recruitment software platform, which has improved the city's ability to communicate with prospective applicants and has resulted in increased applicant participation. Overall, vacancy levels remain below the reporting threshold as established by AB 2561, and staff will continue to monitor staffing levels and recruitment efforts to ensure adequate service delivery across departments. The recommendation is that the City Council conduct a public hearing and receive the vacancy report in compliance with AB 2561, and staff is available for questions.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll open the public hearing at 7:39. If you have any comments, please come forward at this time. I'm not seeing anyone, so we'll close the public hearing at 7:39 and bring it back to the council. Does council have any questions? Looking for a motion.
We actually, we don't need a motion. It's
okay.
just for informational
Yeah, this
purposes.
is just informational.
Okay, wonderful. Moving on to our second reading, number 19, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. We have 2 second readings. The first second reading is Ordinance 1931, Amendment to the Porterville Development Ordinance, Article 307, relating to non-conforming uses, structures, and lots. Staff's recommendation is that the council give second reading to Ordinance number 1931, waive further reading, and adopt said ordinance.
Okay. Moving on to, do you got to read that out by title only?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so for ordinance number 1931, the title is An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Porterville, amending Article 307 of the Porterville Development Ordinance regarding non-conforming uses, structures, and lots.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, moving on to second reading, number 20.
For the second reading, yes.
That covered them both?
You guys will need to vote on it.
Oh. For the first one, 19? Okay, I'll make a motion to go with staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. We'll call for the vote. Passes 4-1. Okay, moving on to
Second reading in regards to Ordinance 1932, amending Article 7 of Chapter 7 of the Municipal Code of the City of Porterville, setting forth procedures for expediting permitting processing for electric vehicle charging systems. And staff's recommendation is that the council give second reading to Ordinance number 1932, waive further reading, and adopt said ordinance.
Okay, bring it back to council. Any questions? I'm not seeing any. So we need a vote on this?
I'll read the title and then you can vote.
Okay.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Porterville amending Article 7 of Chapter 7 of the Municipal Code of the City of Porterville, setting forth procedures for expediting permitting processing for electrical vehicle charging system.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to go with staff recommendations.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Let's call for the vote. Passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to schedule matter number 21.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, we have 3 scheduled matters for tonight. The first one is in regards to award of contract for the Main Street parking lot, and I've asked Acting Director Dignam to provide the staff report.
Thank you. On April 3rd, 2026, staff received 9 bids for the Main Street parking lot project, which is planned for the former J.C. Penney site that was damaged by fire and subsequently cleared. This project will convert the former J.C. Penney site into a public parking facility to support downtown businesses, improve ADA access, and address stormwater needs. The bids received are contained in the packet. 2 of the 9 bids received were deemed non-responsive as they did not utilize the required bid sheet issued by the addendum. The engineer's estimate of probable construction cost was $1 million. The lowest responsive bid submitted by MAC General Engineering is $1,674,950.95, which exceeds the estimate by approximately 67%. Despite exceeding the engineer's estimate, the staff recommends proceeding with the award based on the competitive nature of the bidding process. The city received 9 bids, which demonstrates strong market participation and provides confidence that the bid pricing reflects current market conditions. Re-advertising the project is not expected to result in lower bids and may delay project delivery without reducing costs. The higher than anticipated construction costs are also attributed to site-specific conditions, including work near a waterway, site preparation requirements, and ADA improvements, which increase construction complexity and cost. The total project cost is estimated at $2,009,940.95, which includes construction contingency and support services. Funding for this project is provided by Measure I funds in the amount of $1.2 million as approved by the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Additional Measure I funds are available to fully fund the project, including savings realized from the Fire Station 72 remodel project. The recommendation is that the City Council award the Main Street parking lot project to MAC General Engineering in the amount of $1,674,950.95, authorize a 10% construction contingency and an additional 10% for construction management, surveying, inspection, and quality control services, and authorize an appropriation of $809,940.95 in Measure I funds to fully fund the project, or council can reject all bids and direct staff to re-advertise the project.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bringing it back to the council, does council have any questions?
I have a question. Mr. Dignam, good job. Thank you very much. I know this thing's been going on a long time. I wonder if you might answer a question. I don't know if you know the answer, but we added this electric charging station to this. Did that add a significant amount of cost to this?
No.
It didn't. So less than 50,000?
I'm not sure the exact cost, but it was, what we're installing is what's required.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to ask that because I know there was some question that maybe the engineering was inadequate and then we had to redo it. I thought that might have been the thing that it was causing it to increase in expense, but it could just be the time, right? Okay. Well, I don't like the price tag. I know that originally when I was first briefed on this, that I think it was 1.2 million, if I remember correctly, and it was money that was saved from another area of last year's budget, and now it's going to be 1.7 million. So that's very disappointing, but I know if we don't get this done, it's not going to get done, so my vote is going to be to move this forward.
Okay, it sounds like we've got a motion on the table. I'll take it. Is there any other comments?
No, I think we're doing the right thing, because the longer we delay, the more expensive it's going to get.
Okay, I think I got a second. Councilman Beltran?
Yeah, it just piggybacking on the Vice Mayor's comments is a lot of these projects, whether it's a road project, the community center, everything with inflation, and I think with this specifically is because the waterway that's underneath the covert that was needed, the initial engineering and design didn't meet the new requirements, or something had to be adjusted, and so yeah, it would have been nice if we did this a couple of years ago, it might have gone into that 1.2, but unfortunately it didn't. But yeah, if we prolong this, not only will it cost more, but it's been kicked down the road long enough, so I appreciate this coming before us. And so I think Councilman Green gave a second on that, so I think we're good to go.
Okay. We have a first and a second. We'll call for the vote.
I'd like to make a comment. You know, this is exactly what we need is, you know, I remember when we were told it was 1.2 million. And, you know, when you have somebody that tells you one thing, and then you have a city manager is currently, and he digs deep and finds the true meaning of value, I think we have the perfect city manager in this area, because he's the one that's bringing this to light, and we can't kick this can down the road anymore, because it's going to just get more expensive, and that parking lot has been vacant for so long, and we need it. And but I have one question for you, Mr. Dingham. Is that going to be superchargers or just standard chargers for the electric vehicles? Standard? Okay. Well, I'm all in support of this. So with that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. We'll call for the vote.
I didn't vote.
Oh, shoot. Got to restart.
Here, let me give you a paper.
Can't do it that way.
Roll call
Roll
vote.
call vote, please. Councilmember Rivas,
Aye.
Councilmember Green,
Aye.
Councilmember Beltran,
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCurvey.
Aye.
Mayor Meister.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to schedule matter number 5.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This staff report is in regards to the authorization to issue a request for qualifications for solid waste services. Happy to provide the staff report, answer any questions.
Okay.
How would you like me to proceed?
I think we'll hand it off to the council member that pulled it. So Councilman Beltran, you supported this last council meeting, so go ahead and tell us why you pulled it this time.
So the first one came through as a request for proposal. Now it's request for qualifications. And some of the questions that I have is the initial support of this to look at that was a proposal to look at all the aspects of what the city's looking for. And when it comes back as the RFQ, it's just one page. It does talk about, looking for the experience, technical experience, capabilities, and school scope of services. Part of my concern is, it felt like we're initially like putting the key in the door to see kind of what that might look like. Now, to me, a little bit is this is now we're opening the door a little bit more. And to me, it's going so fast that there were concerns for me. It's been brought up, and I talked about it in my meeting yesterday for the agenda, there was a company that did get a tour of the corporation yard. I don't know who all was in that tour. Could you give a little bit insight of who initiated the contact and who was given the tour?
Yeah, so the city has been evaluating its refuse service for many, many years. And in the past, we've had other firms and vendors take tours of our facility to see if there was any interest. In this particular case, actually it started at the League of California Cities conference, where there was a booth of a firm that was, and that they had an operation in close proximity. They gave me a call after that conference and wanted to come see our operation. And so I initiated that tour and showed them our fleet, answered any questions that they had. They seemed pretty interested in that, if the city has a desire to move in that direction. And
Okay, thank you. Would that be something that would be available to anybody who requested a tour before this item or after this item? Is that something that they would be allowed to do?
yeah, we are receiving some requests from vendors now that the agenda was posted. Some didn't see it beforehand, some did. But we've had requests already come in, and if they want to take a look to see if it fits their model before they spend a lot of time preparing either a response to an RFP or a response to an RFQ, we'd be happy to give them a tour.
Okay, I just want to make sure, what's out there, that, it's a level playing field for all those companies. If they want to ask questions and we can give certain information. I don't think there's anything proprietary. We're a public agency, so if there's certain information that's available, it's readily available to all of them.
Yeah, in regards, so an RFP is definitely a more formal process, and if we decide to go down that route, and this was really just kind of based on the discussion, where we're still trying to understand if this is going to be a fit, and so if we stick with a request for proposals, we would have an official tour where all interested parties would come on a single day, and then any questions that they ask would be documented, and then a response would be given, so it is a complete playing field. On RFQ, we're really just, in this process, we're trying to understand who's qualified to operate a service for the city of Porterville. Do they have experience, based on our discussion, operating a landfill, a transfer station? There's also, from the desire of the council, to see what kind of community involvement these firms have. And so this was an effort to not have a lot of staff time involved in developing a very specific request for proposals, and then in return, these vendors would have to then provide a very detailed response to that proposal. This would give a general, this is the city's services, some basic information, and it's a two-step process where we would evaluate those that submitted their qualifications, rank the highest firm, and then start exploring what kind of options, what kind of service models do they provide in other communities that they serve. So I think this is more kind of still in the exploratory form. I don't feel like from the discussion that the council was committed one way or the other. I think they were generally interested to see kind of what this might look like, what different models. And so we didn't want to invest a ton of staff time, both on ours and then the vendors, when there may not be something developed or an agreement developed for potentially 6 months or even longer, depending on how this process goes.
Yeah, and thank you. And this is mostly for the public. We talked a little bit about this in our agenda review. And part of that process was, because they're not specific scope of service that we're looking for, because there may be a hybrid approach, there may be some other things. And instead of, we don't know what that looks like. Council was more with the RFP, is looking to what type of entities are out there to look at this, that are capable. And so part of this kind of pulling this matter was, again, for transparency and for the public to be aware that, because you highlighted that, and a part of, after we get these back, there'll be scores and rankings, and then it goes into negotiation. I think when this language is in there, it's almost like as soon as we get this back, the negotiations start, and it's the next thing that will be on schedule is we're selecting one. Just, is it my understanding that there will still be communication from all the council members on feedback and stuff? Because also what's in here is that the mayor and vice mayor will be part of the negotiations, where I think I spoke to it the last time, to ensure that we all have a say or asks, and that those are answered before this comes back.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll include the entire council with their comments, and we'll incorporate that in, and we'll come back with information reports of, the status of the progress of this request for qualifications.
Thank you. And so that's mostly, for the most part, pulling it, just more communication with the community, with a lot of things that are being said, and just to make sure that although this has a lot of, people are voicing concerns and what have you, we're being very thorough, and we're not necessarily, this isn't a rush decision. We're going to look at all the different ways that this could be done, that when they see an item in here, and again, it's on one page, that there's going to be a lot more work behind the scenes. This isn't something that's going to back in 2 weeks, and it's just going to get pushed forward. So that was why I pulled this matter, for better communication.
Was that a motion?
I'll make the motion to go with staff recommendations.
Okay, we have a motion on the table.
You need to, you want
You-
to,
second it.
I just wanted to, I really want to share Councilman Beltran's comments here. This is a serious discussion. We went through it for what seemed like an hour in the last or 2 meetings ago. So anybody can go back and watch that. It was a good meeting. And we ended up, my interpretation, understanding, we ended up with RFQ, not RFP. So maybe we got our wires crossed on that. But I think that the impetus there was clean fleet. And, I think that there's an urgency behind that. And that's between the staff time and the clean fleet and those things, I think we all agreed and we all voted 5-0 to go to this route. So I think for the public understanding, we are trying to be very thorough and concerned, but we are trying to go at a faster pace to try to see if there is an option before we go and do all that heavy lifting and the work that needs to be done if we decide to go forward. And I want the public to know, too, that this is, from my understanding, this is at least the third time that we've gone out to do this as a city, maybe more. And so this is not new. It's something that the city has looked at several times. And so for the public's understanding, that goes back years. And I've been coming to these meetings since, the 80s. So it's just want to get it out there for the public record, Raymond. Thank you very much for bringing that up. The concern is there for all of us.
I have one quick. City Manager, this is just for the public. This is just a preliminary. We're just still in the baby steps of this whole process, correct? Just for the public. We haven't made any decisions. We haven't made any promises. We haven't paid anybody, any consultants that, we'll scratch your back if you scratch our back. This is just a basic, we're just finding things out to see if it's going to work for Porterville, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
And I just want to make this point. The clean fleet, for those that don't understand, the state of California is telling us that we got to do this with electric vehicles. And we had that discussion 2 meetings ago at length. And I want to make sure everybody understands that if we end up under that mandate, that's going to be a tall order. Because we know the federal funding is gone. The mayor was in D.C. talking to the federal government. There's no money for electric vehicles going to come for the federal government. And if the state goes forward with this, which I don't think they will end up going forward with it, but it's still a wild card. They do crazy stuff at the state. They're going against parental rights and, families and stuff. So I wouldn't rule it out that they're going to do the right thing. So as far as the mandate goes, I just want to make this point for the public. We can get an exemption if we go with another alternative to that clean fleet requirement. And that was a big part of what we talked about before, because there's a risk to the city. And we have to weigh those. And we also know that when we do this, that we would be making sure that everybody would be taken care of in this process, and that we'd be getting some benefits out of it too. So I really appreciate Councilman Beltran's concern and AJ, Councilman Rivas' concern, because the public needs to understand this clearly. This isn't willy-nilly, but we are going to get out there and see what the options are, and we'll see how this comes together as we have more meetings.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And like it was stated, this is a major decision. It's not made yet. We're just looking at it. And the extremists out of Sacramento are going to force this on municipalities. Where they're not going to is the private sector, because the private sector lobbies and pays for their campaigns, so they won't do it to them. Mark my words. Okay, with that, we have a first and a second. Let's call for the vote. Passes 5-0. Okay, schedule matter number 6. City Manager.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The final scheduled matter tonight is in consideration of award of contract for the City Council Chambers renovation project and authorizing additional funding. Happy to answer any questions, provide the staff report if desired.
I'll bring it back to the council. Councilman Beltran, you pulled this agenda item. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. So yeah, I pulled this item just because given some of the, it's not a big ticket item. I talked with the city manager about some of the language in here. I didn't like that the funds were coming from the City Hall Fitness Fund, which was an idea, but it wasn't, I don't remember in our CIPs that it was going to be fully funded. So it was kind of interesting language about like there's set money for this. But the other thing was, given some of the budget issues that we have, that although this might be a smaller ticketed item, it's more of a want than a need. And so in my discussion with the city manager was to table this and possibly, what's the threshold for non-prevailing wage work? Like 10,000?
I say 10,000, but I think
Something?
it's 12,
Somewhere in there?
Sarah's coming up.
she's on
She's
it.
going to answer it.
For wholly new projects, it's 25,000.
Okay.
And then for modifications or like redesigns or like maintenance type stuff, it's 15.
Okay.
And that's because we're a charter city.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's $1,000.
Okay. So I bring that up because I thought maybe there's a way that we can do this for under that threshold that doesn't trigger these. That, you know, Porterville High School, I remember when I went there, they had a carpentry class. They built a home every year. That maybe we can reach out to whether it's the Porterville College or one of these high schools that maybe, because it's more of the fascia and just removing some shelving, maybe we can, if we just buy the materials and maybe this is a community project for something like that, just to try again, not that, and I say table this just to see if we staff or we could work on maybe done for a little bit cheaper.
Have you made any of those phone calls?
I have not. This is the first time I saw this was Thursday, or Friday, I should say.
Okay, does council have any comments?
I didn't know if this was like pressing, like this need to be done this week or this month. So again, it's a want, not a need.
I have one question. Mr. Tree, City Manager, when was the last time this place has been renovated?
I don't have a date. Probably several decades.
And since then, I mean, things change. I think things need to be upgraded. You know, we are the face of the public. We are the face of the nation when they look at our YouTube. So, yeah, I think we do need a renovation. We do need to be upgraded a little bit. I don't think it's a want. I think it ain't a need, but it's a necessity. I think we need it because we haven't done it, like you said, in a couple of decades. So I look forward to it. I support this, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councilman Rivas. Are there any other comments?
Yeah, I think that given the current fiscal environment, and personally, I mean, I don't know, people out in the audience here in the chamber, I mean, it works. Does this not work for anybody else? I think it's something that we could put off. I said just for the optics because of, well, we don't have money for this. We got to watch this. We got to watch this expenditure. We have to watch that expenditure. I think it can personally wait. It works for me. I don't have a problem with it. Anybody else have a comment?
You are going for the mayor.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right. Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
I think I'm for this. I think we get stuck sometimes. I have a lot of budget experience and financial experience over the years. The first account that I had in 2003 that I took on for the West Coast was a $55 million account. You have to learn how to look at the right numbers, the zeros. When we talk about doing a parade or we talk about fixing up the council chambers or putting in this new technology versus fixing JCPenney's or putting in a community center or putting in a library, there's a big chasm between the big items and the regular items. And so if you take $10,000 to do a parade, how many times can you do a parade before you get to $1 million? It's 100, right? So we could have 200 parades or fix J.C. Penney's. We could have parades for the next 20 years. So the point I'm trying to make here is when we talk about budget, we need to have perspective on the number of zeros that we're talking about. You know, you do this at home when you're having a birthday party with your kids. It's okay to have a birthday party even if you're having trouble financially because it's not that much money. I'm not saying that some things are not a lot of money, but what I'm saying is perspective and priority. So when we say we're going to do some things to support our kids or make sure we have a parade and make sure we have a duty as a city council to go out there and provide for the civic experience. And so I think we get hung up on the pettiness of the money because I think people aren't understanding the conversation properly. When you look at the fact that this city is $50 million behind on its pension, if we don't change the course of the city, the people are not going to get that pension money. And if we have to continue to put $6 million a year in that pension fund just to keep it status quo and not get ahead, think about what $6 million a year we could be doing with. So there's structural issues that we talk about with the city are in a complete different universe than the petty issues that we continue to hear from people on Porterville First and FYI and these little political agendas. We're going to have parades. We're going to build stuff in the park, and it's not going to break the bank because we need to be working on big items like community centers and libraries, and we need to be we're looking at a $60 million bill just to look at denitrification, and we're looking at maybe a $200 million bill to try to change some of the things in public works. Those are big numbers. Those are the things we're concerned about up here. And I think the public is kind of got a perception that if we remodel this area or we have a parade that it's going to break the bank. That's not the case. Never has been, never will be. So I just want to make sure that everybody kind of gets a basic understanding of the perspective of the structural issues. And when I said there was a $13 million structural issue in the city, it was because they were not paying $1.3 million a year for 10 years that they should have been paying. And now the golf course, because we didn't pay for the golf course for 10 years, now we're going to pay back that 10-year deficit at $100,000 a year. Now it's going to take 30 years to pay for that 10 years that they didn't pay for the golf course. And that comes out of now. And so we robbed the future to pay for the present, or however you want to look at that. And that was where the deception of the last period of leadership in this city was. And so as we uncover those structural issues and we say, wait a minute, we have to change our course, we have to be innovative on things so that we can make sure and we can deliver and the city can continue to pay its pension and keep the parades going and then build the denitrification facilities if we need to. That's what the budget concern is about. It's not about whether we had a parade or whether we're going to remodel this area. And it's not a lot of money. And I do appreciate the comments, though, that Mr. Beltran makes, because he's saying, let's make sure we do it at regular wages. Let's not kill ourselves. And I love the idea that we could use the schools and the pathways. Great ideas. And I think Councilman Beltran and I share this. We talk about finances off and on. And I think that that's the perspective that maybe doesn't get across, and it's certainly manipulated in the media. So I just want to get on record and say what that is. Not in the paper, because the paper won't report on it, Alexis, but at least on FYI and Porterville First, they manipulate it. I didn't want to go on a tirade, but I just felt strongly about putting that on the record, and I'm definitely going to put this forward, but I don't want to pay prevailing wage. And so if we can be creative on how we get that done, that's what I'm voting for.
Okay. I think I find myself being the swing vote here. You're saying that you do support this, or you want to amend it and go back?
No, I think you can get it done with the price tag here without paying prevailing wage, right? Isn't that,
No,
would that be correct?
No, it's going to be prevailing wage.
But it's in pieces, right? This isn't all one, this is not one.
We need clarification.
It's main.
You legally can't divide it. The only way you'd be able to divide it and count it as separate is if you did one now and then like in 6 months from now, do another
Yeah, we
piece
don't
and
want
then.
Well,
Thank you, Ms.
can we
Weaver.
break it in pieces?
How do you,
Well, she said 6 months. So what's the rule, 6 months? I love your green jacket.
Thank you. You have to divide it in a way with the timing where it's not where you're intentionally trying to skirt the rules to avoid those things. So, if you are able to deliver a piece of it and then come back, later and do another piece, then you're able to do that. But you can't divide it specifically to avoid the rules.
it's a silly way of doing business. You just get it done.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, yeah,
And then it's labor and materials included, so.
There may be an opportunity where city staff can remove the shelf and prep the site if there's concern and you would like us to negotiate with a firm and reduce it by doing some of the prep work. We could take a look at that if that's the desire of the council, or we can proceed as.
yeah, I'm open to that. And here's the thing, guys. We're celebrating 250 years of American history. That's something we talked about in the Heritage Committee. This is one of the upgrades. It's also something I've been talking about for 3 years now. E pluribus unum. It's our nation's first motto. It represents Porterville very finely because we're a diverse community, and E pluribus unum is probably one of the first good diverse things that came to American history, right? The out of many one out of many. And so what a way in celebrating 250 years to beautify these chambers, to upgrade the front here where we have an empty desk area and holes in our cabinetry, and let's clean it up and make it look like this. That's what we're getting for this product. It's funded. I'm going to make a motion to go with staff recommendations.
I'll second.
And let me amend it. If there's ways that you can negotiate and get a lower cost, all for it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first.
With
and a-
the amended.
Yes, we have a first and a second. Let's call for the vote. Passes 3-2. Okay, moving on. How is council doing? You guys need a break? We're good? Okay. Moving on to 1234 reports. This is time for all 1234 reports required pursuant to government code. Heritage Committee. You want to take that one on, Vice Mayor, or you want me to take it?
Why don't you take it, Mayor?
Okay, the Heritage Committee met April 22nd at 4 p.m. The first item on the agenda was the flag walk event. Logistics were discussed and final plans made in preparation of the event. The Daughters of American Revolution update included a first look at the historic marker that had arrived and will be installed in Veterans Park next to the Washington Monument, and it is a beautiful marker with the 250 logo. This marker will be dedicated at a ceremony on September 26. That will also include the unveiling of the Washington Monument. The monument is currently being manufactured. Community partners are coming together to donate foundation and electrical work. And some of those community members, I want to give them a shout out. One is Greg Bartlett Construction. He's donating the material, the concrete, the rebar, and the labor, and he's going to do a special stamp on that concrete for the Washington Monument. And then also Bob Rufa Electric is donating the conduit, the wire, and then the lights and the labor so that we can light up that monument. So it's just amazing to see our community partners coming together to deliver on this project. Really a great honor. Also in June, an American Revolution Experience traveling exhibit will be displayed at the Porterville Museum. And this is, it's coming through California, so it's gonna hit Fresno, Porterville, Bakersfield, which is really neat. Next on the agenda was a mural update. Porterville College students have now finished their farmer mural, making it 2 completed downtown. and they just did an amazing job on that. A representative from the Arts Commission was in attendance, and there was discussion on painting some more fire hydrants in addition to future murals. The calendar of events was reviewed. This was followed by the final agenda item, which was discussed on ordering some items to continue promoting heritage events throughout the year, including the Washington Monument Dedication Day event in September. Vice Mayor, I know you're going to have some comments at the end of the meeting on that. Do you have any other comments on it?
No, I think you did a good job with that. I think the students at PC did an excellent job, too. I know that they may not be back till the summer, but they want to do more. And I would like to point everybody to our website. If you go to the Porterville website, if you have to go to the right-hand side, that would be my left, your right, and down on the bottom, there's a Porterville 100. If you click on that, it's on the home page. If you click on the Porterville 100, it'll open up a splash page and shows all of the events and the videos and the things that are starting to come together. Oh, yeah, if you can pull it up, that'd be great. So this is still being developed, and if you go, see the Porterville 100? There you go. If you click that, and this is for the folks to look at, then you can see, if you want to go ahead and check it, you can click it. You can scroll down, and you can see some of the things that we've done already, some of the pictures, what we're planning to do, who's involved, what the logo is. This is under construction, so there's going to be some changes here, but added in here, there's some great videos. You got Callie in here. You got the students that painted it. Go check it out. It was really cool. I'm really excited that we just were able to get the flag folding ceremony out there. So I just want to share that with everybody as something that you can all look at. And we haven't promoted it enough. I know there's always conversations about communication, and the team has been doing a great job of developing this and putting this together for everyone to look at, and we need to promote this site, and we need to continue to develop it because we still are getting into the season, right? We're going into Flag Day, we're going into Freedom Fest, we're going into the Monument, we got Patriots Day on 9/11. There's a whole bunch of stuff planned this summer, and so it'll be, we're going to put that out here, and we're going to have some more information for everybody. So I just wanted to say that. That's coming together nicely as an offshoot of the committee.
No, and that's beautiful. I know we talked about it. I didn't realize that was up. Who was that? Our own IT guys that did that?
Yes, sir, that was performed by staff.
Awesome. They did a great job. I love it. And I look forward to adding more to it, right, as we go down this road. Okay, moving on to Thule East Groundwater Sustainability Agency, JPA, met April 29th. Councilman Green.
We did, Mr. Mayor, and action items that were taken was roughly, I think it was $42,000 something in unpaid bills, but we can't pay them at the moment. We're waiting for funds to be deposited to the GSA account from a loan from Tulare County. All bills were approved to be paid upon deposit of funds in the GSA account. Landowner Advisory Board approved by directors, a 7-member panel. There will be, I guess, Robert was one city person on that landowner outreach committee?
Yes, the city will be represented.
Represented by one, okay, right. And then Prop 26-218, which is for SCI consulting firm for Thule East GSA, was approved by the board for a cost of $95,713. And of course, we're still waiting to get funds to pay bills. Items that were discussed: landowners that pump 20 acre-feet or less and are outside of 2 miles distance of the Frank Kern Canal will be exempt from metering and reporting requirements to the state or to Four Creeks, which they monitor all that for the state. State Water Resources Control Board denied the Thule Subbasin request to be exempt from reporting requirements. The state supports developing one general GSP plan, which is a general general groundwater sustainability plan, excuse me, for the entire subbasin, which I think there's 8 other GSAs in the Thule subbasin. The TEGSA supports a single GSP for the subbasin and is coordinating with other GSAs, which is groundwater sustainability agencies, to reach this goal, thus avoiding something that we really don't want to see happen as the State Water Resources Control Board implementing its own policies and mandates on the Thule subbasin. And there were no closed session items to report, and the next scheduled meeting is set for June 3rd of 2020 of this year.
Thank you, Councilman Green. Okay, moving on to oral communication. This is the time to address the council on any matters of interest. Your time will be limited to 3 minutes.
Hey guys, it's me. Turned it right off. Mayor, before you leave, I did agree with the murals. They look great. I really wanted to just comment on the CIP meeting. I was here, but kudos to the councilman who sat through that funeral all day and then came and sat through that meeting, because my goodness, it was exhausting. Kudos to you. I think the city is going in a good direction with that plan. I thought the meeting was super productive. It was really nice to see everybody have really good conversation. It was nice. Just a couple of notes. I know this, so the gopher holes at the sports complex are crazy. And I know Freedom Fest is coming up, and I don't want kids and whatnot. I don't know what the city does for that. And I know it's hard to control because gophers are burrowing rodents. So, but I do practice out there with my kids for soccer, and it is a little bit concerning. So maybe just have some Parks and Rec people go out there and check it out before Freedom Fest comes around. The Pack thrift store opened with a ribbon cutting. It was awesome. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, go ahead. And then my last note is, I don't know how integrated the council is with St. Anne's, but it is the principal's last year as the principal this year. She's going back to teaching. So just shout out to Kayla Trueblood. She's done a really awesome job with St. Anne's during her tenure as principal. Other than that, thank you guys for the meeting. I'm happy to see we're out by 9.
Brock Neely had this on record. Just thing to put in the back of your head. How many years ago did Visalia privatize their water to California Water Company? What, 22, 23 years ago? When they started the water conservation, they were not enforcing water conservation through California Water Company. The ultimate agency that got fined for that was the city of Visalia. So you may think on the electrification, if they don't meet the standard, that the city won't be touched. They probably will be, because you're still ultimately responsible.
That's a good point.
Karen Anderson. This is a rare time. I full-heartedly agree with Councilman Green on the renovation, proposed renovation of the council chambers. Talking about, mention was made about the pension fund, and there's a deficit in the pension fund. Balance things out. The reality is, the real world problem is, for the common person, for most people, is money, salaries, retirement, that type of thing. You got the pension fund, council renovation, council chambers renovation. Which is more of a priority, which should be more of a priority? How things look, how things appear, or the reality of meeting expenses and the cost of living by people in the city, by people working for the city, people dedicated to the city. 2 of the departments have already been affected, engineering and planning. One of the previous meetings, the mayor, kind of in a cocky way, in a mocking way, said, "Mr. Tree, how many employees have been fired?" No one's been fired yet, but at the meeting when the comment time was cut from 3 minutes down to 2 minutes, and there were so many city employees here giving their thoughts, their opinions, their feelings. They already knew what was going to happen. You may not have realized it, but when those employees went out into the hallways, they were crying. They were hugging each other. They were crying because they knew that was basically it. They're here till June 30th. Then they're gone. So think about what's a priority, what's a necessity, and what is cosmetic. There is a huge difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Corey Wells. So for my first oral communication, I talked about Blessings of Liberty. This time I want to talk about American Conservatory because they're two different entities. They're siloed. American Conservatory, we are a 501c3 charitable organization, and it formed in 2023. And our mission when we first started out was to be able to sponsor these civic events and enable for whether they're businesses, just random clubs in town, anybody, to be able to do these civic events because you had to do it using a 501c3. And we've done a number of them, and they've been pretty successful in bringing more, bringing more fun things in town, whether that's with the Mecca or supporting the Little Leagues. We've helped establish a now independent baseball boosters club that's very successful and parent-led. We fiscally sponsored them with our organization, and that's what we're here to do, is just to help them. We've actually we're losing money on this car show, and it's hurting us pretty bad, especially with the $10 price that we had to give back to the city on that. And I appreciate the comment on the raffle by my friend here in the public. I was already aware of that, and we're already working on rectifying that. But we are a legally, properly registered 501c3 organization, and we're here to help support the community. We take no money. We lose a lot of our own money. So it'd be great if we could get grants, but obviously we're making it work because we're people who do care. We get very little out of it, if anything. Yeah, I am a treasurer. The member of the public talked about my profession. I do campaign treasury compliance, and it's administrative. It's very clerical, as is any comptroller role. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's all public record. It's always been out in the open. If you just talk to people, and I mean, this is the issue with, screens. As a young Zoomer myself, who spent way too much of my youth on the screen, it is intoxicating, and it creates artificial barriers. And that's a part of what American Conservatory and Blessings of Liberty is to help get through. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else. We'll bring it back to the council. Councilman Rivas, do you have any comments?
No, I don't have any comments, other than thank you for everybody's report. Thank you for the Employee of the Month being here. I think we're going to get out of here before 9 o'clock, and I look forward to that. I have one question. Those of you tuning in, when you're turning on a crosswalk, make sure at the schools that you allow the kids to cross and not cross in front of them. People driving in the vehicles, it only takes a second, but you don't want to hit a kid crossing while they're going to school. Take your time, take it slow. It's not that, you shouldn't be that much in a hurry. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Rivas. Councilman Green, do you have any comments?
No, who was the officer of the month?
Medina?
Employee of the month, what was her last?
Patricia. Patricia.
Medina, you need to get her over there. Jay. Hey, Jay, talk to Bobby, get that arranged, all right?
Man, you're going to be mayor, ain't you?
Is that it?
Yeah, that's my comment.
Councilman Beltran.
A couple of things I forgot to mention earlier. Looking back through all my notes, April 22nd, which is quite a few weeks ago, I attended the Porterville Unified School District's Community Action Projects. Councilman Rivas was there as well. It was great to see these youth, just their community projects. A lot of them had to do with health. Some interesting one had to do with the city, with intersections and safety, lighting and roads. So it was great to see just these young individuals looking at issues in their community and addressing them. So it was a really nice event. Also, before the parade, this was on April 29th, before the Cinco de Mayo parade, Comisión Honorífica has a pageant for the Cinco de Mayo Queen in Court, and it was their 99th year. They've gone through different iterations as an organization and names, but that organization has been around putting these types of events together for 99 years. And I thought, wow, how impressive it is, because we see different organizations. The Rotary had recently shuttered. In my meeting this morning with the Breakfast Lions, they're actually looking at shuttering as well. The personnel aren't there to continue those organizations. So I thought it was just really touching to see this organization, even though it's gone through different forms, continues with that mission of the culture and just engagement with the community. They have, I think they gave out, I want to say 8 to 10 scholarships that evening. So that was a really wonderful event. Also, just invite the community. The Link Committee, that's the committee that deals with the homelessness, has our meeting tomorrow across the street at the Thurman Conference Room at 3 p.m. If you want to get engaged and help out with the homeless services, I invite you to come. And lastly, it was spoken earlier, the representatives from the new Porterville Rescue Mission and all the great work that they're doing there. But I wanted to clarify, when the council voted to give them some funding, I believe it was $5,000 to help subsidize some of the impact that may happen, they actually never took all the money or didn't take any of the money. They were concerned with any kind of things that may be attached to the money and requirements. And so, again, if you have extra clothing, adult clothing, shoes, hygiene products, you want to make a donation and help. If you see that they're doing that kind of work, just pour into them, see if you can make a donation to them or even volunteer for something that they may need. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Beltran. I didn't know that, so thank you. Some of the attacks, and to Mr. Tree, you're in the hot seat and you fall under attack, and the comments tonight of, are you qualified for the job, are a little disgraceful. There's directors in this city, and we didn't hire Mr. Tree because he's an expert in every field. We didn't hire him because he knows how policing works or firefighting works. We hired him because we had to find a man to do a hard job. And you filled that void, Mr. Tree. And so some of the decisions that this council has pushed you into is why you're falling under attack. And so I thank you for keeping your chin up high as we're going through that. I know it's not easy. Throws me off sometimes as well. I'm slamming the gavel when I don't need to. So, the attacks of me at work is also disgraceful. And I think to myself, the team that I work with, I'm the senior guy on our team. And I'm leaned on heavily at work, from steam tunnel work, chill water, air conditioning, heating. It doesn't matter. I digging holes, replacing chill water lines, water mains. It's very similar to what a lot of public works does. But I would like to think I'm a little more expanded on some skill sets that the city doesn't have. I think of my comments of work hard, show your worth, and it's so triggering to say that nowadays, but it's the truth. We all have to work hard. We all have to show our worth. And, you know, just because I make that comment doesn't mean I'm not saying you guys aren't doing it, city staff. I appreciate all of you very much and how hard you guys work for this city. And so I just want to say that. And in the moment where we're going through consolidation and we're looking at these things, and that there's certain angles from the community, I mean, this pecan group, they're just taking advantage of the moments. And so they're trying to portray us in such a way to where when I am saying, hey, work hard, show your worth, earn your spot, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you guys are lazy or you're not doing the job. So I just want to put that out on record. You know, and some of the sacrifices of doing this to all my colleagues up here, you guys are all going through it as well. You know, Councilman Rivas, you went through hell a couple months ago and what they did to you and your family. And it's disgraceful people in our community that perform actions like that. And it came out in the paper, and we all know what the truth is. And so once again, the smearing, defamation, the lies put on community members, it's all political. You know, and the sacrifices from all of us doing this job. You know, I know Councilman Beltran's had to sacrifice many hours. I've sacrificed over 200 hours of my vacation time to do this job. And so I have worked hard. I have showed my worth. I could think of when I busted my face at working in steam tunnels, coming in here with 2 black eyes to work with you guys to get the agenda across the finish line, right? So it's, like I said, it's a little disgraceful, but I want to end it on a high note. I appreciate all the staff in this room and all the hard work you guys do down to the boots on the ground level. The road work that's being done, the pathways, everything around this community. Keep up the great work. I really appreciate it. City Manager, take us home.
Well, before I take us home, I'm not sure if the Vice Mayor had a chance to speak.
Oh,
And so,
did I skip you? Vice Mayor, go ahead, sir. I apologize. I'm ready to go home.
That's why I'm running for mayor.
I saw the
Councilman
clock.
Green said that's why he's running for mayor.
Well, I don't know.
Go
if
ahead, sir.
Did you get, everybody might need a chance, but, you know, I also want to just say, I want to echo those comments and say that we all work hard. The thing is, a lot of people are portraying the things that we're doing as if we're trying to save money, but we're just trying to create efficiency. And I think that, you know, what happened, and a lot of people don't understand this, but we made a general plan, a master general plan in this city that said that we were going to be as big as Visalia by 2030. And we started building towards it, staffing towards that. And we're half as big as Visalia. And so when they split those departments and now we're changing them around, I think there's a great opportunity here, and you guys are probably going to be pleasantly surprised with the outcome, to create better efficiency for our city. It's not about saving money, it's about making sure we take care of all of our people and make sure we take care of the public. And it's not a dig on anyone, and if folks at the top of the directors levels have left, it is kind of a soundbite to say, yeah, we didn't fire anybody. Well, they left. For whatever reason they left, others have now moved up. So congratulations to everybody that's been able to move up. Take advantage of that. And as these things change, people are getting some upward mobility. Look at it in a positive way. And I think that you guys are all going to be pleasantly surprised. We're going to work hard, all of us together, everybody out there in the city. I don't want you to think we're coming after you. We're really just trying to create the best result. And the best result to get better development was to restructure the way that was being done. And that was a recommendation, and even the folks in that area know that. And so I think it's just been portrayed in a negative light. And there's just some tough decisions there. It's not easy, but it's not about money. It's about trying to create value and deliver results for the community. And hopefully we can get some development out of it. I wanted to say something after I heard from the audience tonight about the PA system. I know the Downtown Committee is asking for a lot of stuff, and we're not getting it. And we were in the CIP meeting last week, and it was a great meeting, and I know we're probably running a little short, but City Manager, I'd like to take a second look at the sound system down Main, because we're going to do the Christmas parade this year. It'd be delightful if we had a sound system down there when we got that parade going. And if there's a way that we can get that in the CIP, I would like to ask for that tonight, on the record.
Is that a motion?
Do we have to vote on that?
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Yeah, in order to bring a staff report back, we can provide.
I would like
estimated
to make
costs.
that motion.
Okay, how, because we have a special council meeting next week, right? So this,
That's a good point. So the CIP meeting was just a draft, and there was some comments, and the staff received feedback from that meeting. And then in June, we will present the final CIP meeting.
Then it
or
needs a
the
vote.
CIP plan for the council to adopt.
Okay.
I think there's a couple ways to go about this. It sounds like there's a desire to have it in place by the Christmas parade. It may be helpful from a staff's perspective to prepare a staff report. We can present quotes that we've been working on based from the downtown committee, and then council can take formal action. Then we can start working on that to ensure that this product is in place by the Christmas parade or sooner.
now, Donnie, I know this is something, or Deputy City Manager Moore, I know this is something you've tried working on in the past. Do you have a ballpark rough number on what something like this would cost from?
Probably around 150,000.
Okay.
Can I do it contingent on the outcome of our budget? I mean, if we balance the budget and we have the money, could we, I mean, and if we don't, we don't?
Yeah, so maybe this is an advertisement for next Tuesday's preliminary budget where we go over the general fund.
Okay.
The balances of Measure H and Measure I.
Okay.
And there the council will have a sense of what funds are available to fund this type of project.
Okay, all right, that was one.
So is that something he could just request then at the next meeting if those funds are there? Or do we want to push forward for a schedule matter item?
I think probably the better course is we can take the comment in the direction, just like we did at the CIP. We can put that in the draft. It'll come before council in June for adoption. If the council wants to allow that project to stay, they can vote on it in either the whole CIP plan or just that item individually. That may be the best course. I think we'll have time even adopting the budget for the start of the fiscal year, which is July 1st. We can still get this project in place by the Christmas parade. Just kind of thought is we'll take that feedback, we'll include it in the draft CIP for council's consideration for the June meeting.
Okay. Do you need a vote, or is that direction? What do you want from us tonight?
Yeah, just continued direction. You didn't vote on.
I support looking at it. I support that. I think former councilman, Mr. Shelton, has a good idea here. I think it's something to run on.
Yeah. And I think, just as an example, last Tuesday, there was no vote on some of the, like the splash pad, including that, or some of the other ideas that were pitched. Though we get feedback from council. This is kind of a continuous cycle, all working together, and the council, the community, and the staff, and then ultimately we'll present a budget and a CIP for your vote and adoption in June.
Okay. Is there consensus on this, Councilman Rivas? Is this something you're willing to look at? Okay. Okay, it looks like we have consent. I'm not seeing Councilman Beltran, but. Okay. Well, there you go.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, so I got one more thing. I know I'm long-winded. Sorry about that, everybody. We are celebrating that 100-year charter and the 250 years of American history, and we've gotten a lot accomplished. We're entering a time we're going to go to Flag Day. We got a Flag Day event. We've got the event at the museum where they're fundraising for us too, for our Washington Monument. We've got the Freedom Fest. We've got some other events. With the success of the Flag Walk, And the videos are out there on the internet where you guys can see them. We made some mistakes, right? One was we didn't bring any kids, and we did it on a Saturday when there's a lot of folks that couldn't make it. So go look at the video. It was really, really cool. There were some members of the public there that enjoyed it. We want to amp that up and do it again, but we want to do it in conjunction with the schools. And so I'm working with the Daughters of the American Revolution. I'm talking with the Pathways. I'm talking with folks in the school side to try to come up with an event in September. And that would be, we would like to have some way to work with the schools on transportation. So I'm not sure with all the rules that we have now with the fairs. I know that in looking at the staff reports tonight that our ridership went down. And when we instituted the fares, and that's going to hurt us because long-term, that's going to come back to make us redo the bus routes again if we don't get our ridership up. If there's a way that we can take advantage of that in working with the schools, that would be a great idea. I don't know if that's possible or not, but I'd like to maybe put this together. If we can do a flag walk where in Constitution Week or the Friday before, where we can make it a partnership with the schools where they get school credit, and then we have all the kids come down there, I think that would be awesome. I'd like to work towards that end. But I notice the funding that we have set aside for those things is now dwindling down. And so we're entering this phase where we need to market a little bit. And I know that Deputy City Manager has been, we've been talking about this, and we've used up our budget for marketing, the basic budget that was set last year. I would like to propose that, because we have ordered some things like the cups, which are really cool, that have our logo, and we have some hats and some chip clips and mugs, some swag that goes with this and those bags. We need to buy some more of them. So I'm thinking if I could convince the council to say, as we finish this year, I would like to ask if we could take some of our discretionary funds from the council and put it towards making sure that we could put that event together for the kids, and that we could support the fair. The fair is next week. We could actually support them with having some of our swag at our booth and giving that out, but that costs a little bit of money. We could support their heritage organization over there. We could support the Pioneer Days. I think if we could take some money out of our discretionary funds to help us to really finish this year, this 250th celebration and all these events together, that it would be helpful with the strain that we're putting on the regular marketing budget. And we would be able to serve the kids and serve some of these 100 events like Pioneer Days and the fair, which are really closely oriented to those things. So I would like to make a proposal that we use some of our funds for that, and I don't have a number, but it'd be nice to set aside some of our council discretionary funds to make sure that all those events are well marketed and that we have the right amount of stuff for Freedom Fest. There was a comment about having music out there, whatever that takes. I want to make sure that we don't keep coming back to the well, but we need a little bit more money to finish the parties that we're going to have for the next 6 months. And I'd like to, let's just say, I would make a motion that we could take $10,000, which is about the size of what it takes to run a parade or a spring festival, like Cinco de Mayo or one of those things, and set that aside so it can be used for that in general to support those things that we're going to use for our celebrations this year. That's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. As far as swag merchandise, I know we have the keychains, Amy or Donnie, asking you guys for a little help. We have bags.
The cups, the chip clips, and for sale mugs and hats so far for fundraising.
Gotcha. Oh, so we have hats to sell?
We have a few hats and some mugs to sell for the fundraising portion.
Okay.
And so it would be cool if we could give our businesses $100 worth of swag, and they could help us to celebrate this too. It's the other idea that I had that I didn't get in my motion, but this would give us the ability, if we used our discretionary funds, to do something like that.
Okay, and that's I guess what I was trying to get at, because I know we saw the keychains at the last Heritage meeting. And then there's bags that has the farmer 250, and then the cups are for sale? Is that what?
The cups will be given away at different events. We have some cups and some.
How many cups are there?
I would say a couple, maybe 2,000-ish.
Gotcha. And
We're going to run out of cups. And then what we talked about was we could add the Washington Monument logo to any new cups that we order so that we could
Okay.
start marketing to the event that we're going to have in September. So we could add to the back of the chip clip, we could have the farmer on one side and the monument on the other. The mugs could have the farmer on one side, and we could really help with the marketing of the second half of the year. I think that would be something that we need to do. But it's up to you guys as my colleagues. We really want to have a good summer and make sure that we can promote the things that we're doing properly and help any businesses or any other organizations to celebrate with us.
no, I get it, Vice Mayor. And right away, I think of, Flag Day event. If we had a table with some of the merchandise and we were handing stuff out, it's very similar to the magazines that we purchased as well to give to the kids during the parades and whatnot. And so I guess what I'm asking is if we allocate $10,000, are you wanting to give the discretion to the city manager's office and let them decide what it is? Do you want to be a part of that decision-making?
I'd be happy to be a part of it, but I think we should give them, they know what to do. We've had these meetings in the Heritage Committee, and we've had the discussions about all these events, but they don't have enough money to do what they need to do.
Okay. Well, we have a motion on the table. Are there any other comments?
I guess the only comment I'll make, since there was a long discussion about finances and zeros, the analogy was always made early on was, this isn't about going out to dinner. It's every time we go out to dinner, we're ordering appetizers. So we can afford to go out to eat. It's every time we go out to eat, we're ordering a dessert or we're ordering appetizers. And you can say it's about the zeros, but just in this meeting alone, $150,000 potential for speakers, $52,000 for the fascia of the dais here, and now $10,000 for some merchandise for our celebration. That's not including the money that was already seeded for a lot of these events, the extra funds for Freedom Fest, the UFC fight, and other things that are already going on. So, your comments were made about we're nitpicking about stuff, but it's very troubling to see just willy-nilly, let's do this and let's do that. I've asked one time for discretionary funds to be used, and that was for the reunification project 3 years ago. It's $5,000. And it's discretionary fund, absolutely right. That comes out of the general fund, but I just had to say that piece on that. So
Thank you, Councilman Beltran. Are there any other comments? I'm going to, go ahead.
No, it's a special. 100-year, 250 is really special. It's not a regular going out to dinner. So the perspective on this is similar. We get one chance to celebrate this, and we want to make sure we do it right. There's a lot of people in the community that really love the iconography and the spirit of the farmer, and that was because we put something big in the park 50 years ago. And this is what this represents, and so I really want to do it right. And I understand those comments. It's not willy-nilly, though. I don't agree with that, but I just want to make that point.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Rivas, did you have a comment?
I understand what Mr. Beltran's saying. I understand what Mr. Vice Mayor is saying. 100 years, 250 years doesn't come all the time. Yeah, we got to make some hard decisions. We're always going to make hard decisions. I support this, but I want to make sure that it gets spent wisely, and that's all I have to say about that. So,
Yeah, and I think staff has always been very good stewards. Just because you allocate a certain amount doesn't mean they're going to spend it all. They're going to be smart in the way it's spent. Okay, I will second your motion I think we've had all the comments. Let's just call for the vote. Passes 3-2. Okay, is that all you had?
That's it.
All right, city manager, take us home.
Yeah, thank you. And just for clarification, on the transportation, we received the comment, staff will work with the school districts and coordinate with them on transportation. There are some school districts that don't have their own school bus transportation. We provide trips for them as long as they walk to a bus stop, then they're riding like the general public and they pay a fare. We'll coordinate if there's a concern from a school district that can't pay the bus fare. We'll bring that back to council for further consideration, but we'll do that. And then staff will prepare a staff report for next regular scheduled meeting on the 19th for your motion, and that will require a resolution to be adopted to be able to use council discretionary funds.
I like that. And then that'll also maybe give us a chance to look at some of the swag merchandise that the vice mayor was talking about. So that'll be presented as well.
On the 19th. Yeah, we'll give
Okay.
a sample of some products and pricing for that.
So Vice Mayor,
It'll be
you
a
can
well-packaged
That sounds
staff
great.
report.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very
Yep,
much.
no problem. We mentioned the special city council meeting on next Tuesday on the 12th, where we'll present our general fund, Measure H and Measure I budgets, preliminary budgets. Hope the community gets involved and attends that meeting either in person or online. It's just part of our budget process. Did want to wish all the mothers Happy Mother's Day this coming Sunday. It's a special day for them. And then finally, I do want to recognize Janie Rodriguez for 20 years of service. She's moving on, and yeah. We are going to miss her. She's an outstanding finance director, but we know she's going to do great. At the other city, I think they're going to be now a city that we'll be competing against at some point. Now, we wish her the best. We want to thank you for your service with the city of Porterville. We're going to miss you, but did want to recognize her. This is
thank
her
you
last
for doing
city
that.
council
Yeah,
meeting.
Thank you.